YouTube, how's it going? Frogs Angels back with some more NFL content. I've been ranking top 10s, top 10 offenses, defense. I started getting into position players, maybe some duos. I did receiver duos. We're going to do corner duos. That was a hot topic last year. Maybe we'll do corner trios after this. Let me know what you guys think. You want to see that? I mean, it's pretty important to have three solid corners. Sometimes you see four on the field at once, but we're going to keep on going with this. We're eventually going to go top 10 quarterbacks, running backs, receivers. You get the drill. Then top 10 players in general. And then we're going to go team by team leading up to the season, break down my predictions game by game. We got a lot of coverage coming. A lot of coverage. So I appreciate everyone's support. Keep it coming. We want to keep it growing here. But let's get on these top 10 corner duos. Number 10. This was tough. Number 10 is going to be the Atlanta Falcons. Desmond Trufant and Robert Alford. It's a pretty solid duo. I mean, none are top tier corners, obviously, but a pretty solid duo, two solid corners. Falcons, surprisingly, pretty solid defense over the last few years. No big name guys, maybe besides Vic Beasley, but they've been playing. They're pretty balanced, played very well. I like these two corners. So they come in at number 10, just make the cut. Who comes in at number 9? It is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. Ronald Darby and Jalen Mills. Good trade for Darby. This is an interesting one because they also have Rasul Douglas and Sidney Jones, two rookies from last year. And if you've been following us for a while, my expertise goes under the NFL draft, prospects, evaluations. And Sidney Jones, a year ago, was actually my number one corner in the draft, one of my favorite players in the draft until he got hurt. Unfortunate pro day injury. So what's going to happen when he steps on the field? He might be their best corner. Rasul Douglas, very impressive as well. They lost Patrick Robinson, their slot corner. I believe they got somebody else in there as well to play that. But so this can be a number of guys here. Obviously, we haven't seen enough. We haven't seen any of Sidney Jones and enough from Rasul Douglas. But these two guys alone here, they make the list. I know the Eagles had one of the worst tackling secondaries, which wasn't affected too much because the rest of the team could tackle very well. But at coverage and inside routes, these guys are locked down. So they make the cut mainly because of balance here, just like the Falcons. Number 8 is going to be the Ravens. This one was a tough one because I'm a big Jimmy Smith fan. I love Jimmy Smith. Injury was unfortunate last year. He can be a top corner in this league. Maybe not the best, but he can be a top corner. And then Marlon Humphrey, I could have put Brandon Carr here, but Marlon Humphrey played pretty well for a rookie last year, so you expect him to be their guy. Obviously, they drafted him a year ago in the first round. The plans to be Jimmy Smith and Marlon Humphrey. But we need to see more of Marlon Humphrey, so that's why it comes in at 8. But Jimmy Smith, I'm a fan of Jimmy Smith. I love his game. He's getting better and better. Let's hope he stays healthy. Between 8, which is the Ravens, obviously, the number 7, it was very close. I was back and forth, but because Marlon Humphrey, we need to see more of. They come in at 8, but I'm a big fan of this duo of the future because Jimmy Smith's still young, playing at a high level. So number 7, I said, was very close. Is a division rival, actually, is the Bengals. William Jackson and Drake Kirkpatrick. I'm a big William Jackson, just like I'm a big Jimmy Smith guy. William Jackson in a different way. The last year was basically his rookie year because he was hurt before the season started as a rookie. He played very well last year, and I expect him, if he stays healthy, to take a big step up. So he's very young. Drake Kirkpatrick's still pretty young. They do have Pac-Man too, but he's on the decline, I think, but still an athlete. But William Jackson, the third, I think we're going to be hearing his name more and more as these years come along here. I think he'll maybe be viewed as one of the top corners in the league in a few years. He's very exciting to watch, very fun to watch, can make a play on the ball, and can bring it back for 6. So I like this duo going forward. They come in at 7. I expect them higher maybe in the near future. Number 6 is going to be the Niners. I keep talking about guys that I just really like. Ahkello Witherspoon. If you followed our draft coverage a year ago, I was higher than anybody on Ahkello Witherspoon. I would have been fine with him in the late first round. They get him. He has a great rookie year. He's very tall, just like Richard Sherman. That is the duo here. Obviously, if you didn't know, Richard Sherman and Ahkello Witherspoon. Hopefully Sherman's healthy. Hopefully Witherspoon continues to grow, but he's going to be a hell of a corner. There's really no flaw to his game. The only weakness I saw as a prospect was a thin frame, but it didn't really, that doesn't affect me. Measurables are overrated, but he's got the length, 6'3", long arms. People liked Isaiah Oliver from this year coming out as the Colorado corner. Same type of guy. I like Witherspoon better. He's going to have a good career. I love this duo. At number 6, could have been higher, but we need to see more of Witherspoon and Sherman. We need to see that he's healthy and still plays at a high level. But number 6 is solid because there are some good corners in the NFL these days. Number 5 is going to be the Denver Broncos. They lose Talib, but still got Chris Harris and Bradley Roby. Now, Bradley Roby is the guy that's going to step up more. I think we're going to be hearing his name more and more. Maybe as a top corner in the near future. Still young. Chris Harris still playing at a high level. This is a good duo. I think the Broncos wanted this. I don't think they were interested in keeping Talib mainly because, well, obviously because they traded him, but I thought they viewed this as their duo, even if Talib was still stuck on their roster. They like Roby, like where he's headed, and Chris Harris is a beast still. So the Denver Broncos at 5, that's pretty good for 5. So what is the top 4 looking like? Number 4 on the list is going to be the Chargers. Casey Hayward, viewed as maybe one of the best corners in the NFL. Maybe one of my biggest hits on my draft evaluations. We can do a video on that. Maybe my best hits and misses. Casey Hayward, I was insanely high on, and would the Packers get him in the 3rd round, something like that? Ends up being a Pro Bowl. Jason Verrett, I mean, they would probably be number 2. I'll tell you right now, they'd probably be number 2 on this list, but Verrett needs to stay healthy. They did get Desmond King, so he could be involved in this. I like him in a slot maybe. Desmond King was a hell of a draft pick last year. But Casey Hayward and Jason Verrett, if both healthy, which Casey Hayward you expect to be healthy, it could be competing for one. It would probably be number 2. But since the injury concerns, since we don't see a lot of Verrett, who's a very, very good corner, if healthy, they come in at 4, which is still solid. But Chargers, I can't wait to watch this defense this year. It's going to be very fun to watch. Hopefully they stay healthy. So now we're on to the top 3. We're on to the healthy guys. We're on to the big boys here. And the Chargers, if healthy, would, like I said, would be up there. But number 3 is going to be the Rams, with 2 guys, neither in a Rams jersey here, Marcus Peters and Aqib Talib. Now, I don't know if some people expected them 1 or 2, and I'll explain to you why they're not 1 or 2. Still, 3 is very high. Well, neither of them played on the Rams, and neither of them played together. That's 1. Marcus Peters, the Chiefs wanted him gone. Excellent corner. Another one of my big draft hits. He was a top 5 player that year, and he wasn't even the first corner off the board. But playmaking corner, he did get beat at times last year, but he's going to get that game-changing play. The interception could bring it back for 6. Excellent corner, one of the top in the league. Not the best, but one of the top guys in the league. Aqib Talib didn't have his best years. I think his best year was behind him. Still a very good corner going to Wade Phillips' defense. Can he have his best career year? I don't think so, but he can be good. It is a very good duo. Obviously, I am at 3, but I just need to see them together. I need to see if they still got it. I think Marcus Peters has still got it. I don't know about Talib. Again, I think the Broncos wanted to move on from him. I think that obviously the Chiefs wanted to move on from Peters as well. But, I got him at 3, so obviously I think highly of them. But the main part that they didn't play together, and then neither were on the Rams. We need to see more. But good corner duo. Number 2 is going to be the Vikings, Xavier Rhodes and Trey Waynes. Xavier Rhodes may be the best corner in football. You can argue that. He's got to be at the top 3. Don't really have to go in depth about him. He locks up number 1 receivers weekly. Trey Waynes, I thought, was very underrated last year. I thought he had a hell of a year. I thought was the best tackling corner. I think Pro Football Focus backs that up. Best tackling corner in football. I continuously saw him making big 3rd down stops coming up to the line. So he played a hell of a year, but obviously Rhodes keeps the duo up here at 2. So solid duo, and you can't forget these guys are still young. They're still in their 20s. So I think that I expect them up here for the next few years. But does Mike Hughes step in or Mackenzie Alexander step in? Trey Wayne's only got a year left on his contract, so we'll see what happens there. Obviously, Rhodes is locked up for a while. So that's number 2. Number 1, just obvious. I don't think there was really any discussion. I think the Chargers can compete, like I said, if they were healthy. I think the Vikings could be there. Maybe Trey Waynes needs to step up his coverage a little bit. But number 1's pretty obvious. It's Jalen Ramsey and A.J. Bouye. Bouye would be the number 1 corner on pretty much every team. But he's not because Jalen Ramsey and how young these guys still are. And how Bouye just came out of nowhere, too. Really, nobody knew who he was before the Texans. But Ramsey's number 1 guy. He locks up the number 1s. But Bouye, very consistent. So it's a clear number 1. No surprises here. I do like the other guys right just behind them. But there is a big gap between 1 and maybe like 5. So, or somewhere around that range. But number one's pretty obvious. Pretty obvious. Other teams that I considered, trying to think of the top of my head. There's teams that have a solid one corner, but then there's a big gap between their second corner. Example, Lions, Darius Slay. I love Darius Slay, but I think Lawson's their other corner. Big gap. I don't really like that duo. I think they could use another corner in the future. Just trying to think top of my head. Patrick Peterson, the Cardinals. Brandon Williams, not bad, but yeah. Titans they got maybe a future duo, Malcolm Butler and Dory Jackson. Need to see more from Jackson. The Patriots, speaking of Malcolm Butler, they got Stephon Gilmore. I think he's a very good corner. I think he has they asked him to do a hard job. He's man a lot of the game. But who's the other guy? Is it Eric Rowe? Is it McCourty? Pretty close to making this list. So there's a few teams. I thought the Bears are a pretty balanced corner team. They have a pretty balanced defense, but they didn't quite make the cut. Redskins are a team to look out for because they have Norman. I expect Fabian Moreau to step up. I liked him a lot a year ago, and he was hurt last year. So that's a team to watch out for. I don't think they belong on this list because we need to see more from Moreau. Norman, I think, had an off year, but still a very good corner. So there's some teams, I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. There's some teams that have a pretty good duo. Should I do a trio? Let me know what you guys think. I know the trio is pretty important. I guess the more videos, the better. The more content, the better. So why not? But we got a schedule. We eventually want to get to some of the requested tight end duos. We're going to get to that. Maybe some front seven rankings, DB units. We got to do safety duos. I'm a big fan of the DBs. My favorite position is corner or safety in football. So I like breaking that down for you guys. But we'll eventually get to specific positions. We'll get to top 10 offense players, in my opinion, top 10 defense players, top 10 players. Maybe we'll go, in my opinion, best player on each team right now. We got plenty of stuff. I love suggestions what to do next. Kind of have a schedule, but we can move that around a little bit. But I love hearing you guys' suggestions. Love your guys' feedback. Sport's been great. Our goal is 10K subscribers by the season. A long way to go. But from last year, a year ago, right now to now, it's been ridiculous. So thanks for everyone's support. We want to continue to grow. We want to get better content out there too. We're thinking about doing maybe like a live podcast setup. We need some more stuff to make that happen, more equipment, but a live camera. Maybe there'll be less graphics going on, but we'll still have videos like this with the graphics. Let me know. I want to hear your guys' thoughts, what you want for the future. We're trying to grow. We're trying to get there, and you guys make it possible. So please like, subscribe if you haven't done that already on our videos. But that'll do it for this one. Goodbye.